The oyster industry itself is essentially shut down all along what I call the coast of the Gulf of Oil, and many of the oysters were killed outright by the oil, but most of them were killed in the Louisiana area by the flooding of fresh water from the Mississippi River that they tried to flush the oil out with. And since then, I believe the dispersed oil has prevented new oysters from settling on the culch materials, which are shells. And so there's no regrowth right now. And if we look back in history, the 1979 Ixtoc 1 spill in the Bay of Campeche, 31 years ago, the oysters have still not recovered there. And so if we're talking about what's happening here, we already know that after 18 months, there's no recovery started. Even if the oysters begin setting in the spring, it'll take 3 years for the crop of oysters to be ready to harvest. So we're talking now 5 years. It's a reality right now, but I know that some folks there in Alabama with Auburn are starting to do off-bottom culture using hatchery-reared stock so they can control the conditions. And so they're pretty successful over there. And that may be what we have to do in many places, is begin to do what we call oyster aquaculture or mariculture. They're doing it around Mobile Bay with the cage culture, people hanging it off their docks, but it's just to help the oysters prevail in the area, not for harvest purposes. The industry is decimated, as I said, and there are, I know Apalachicola Bay, Florida, harvested most of its oysters to supply our needs over here during the spill, so they're going to take a while to recover. Many of the oysters there on Cedar Point Reef in Alabama died because of the salt water that came in through the cut in Dauphin Island, brought in all the drills, and the drills have just been eating the oysters all up, and so now they're slowly recovering. But you get over into Mississippi, where we lost them from the flood of the Mississippi River, and into Louisiana's marshlands, where they killed them, not intentionally, but the fresh water from the river killed them. Those are all not in anymore. So as I say to folks, eat the oysters from Apalachicola Bay when they come back, and from Texas bays when their red tide event is over. But we don't really have any now in Mississippi or Louisiana. And if there are a few in Alabama, that's good. I'm worried about it. The rest of the folks, if they believe the Food and Drug Administration and the seafood industry folks, everything is good. I just choose not to. I look at the dolphins that are dying and say, they're my canary in the mine shaft. And if they're not doing well and they're eating the seafood, what should we be doing? Right now, the negative signs are piling up. I mean, they're really piling up. We're finding that fish have lesions and disease in the deeper parts of the Gulf. So do the crabs and lobsters and shrimps. We're finding shrimp with one eye or no eyes off of Horn Island, Mississippi. Our oysters are dead. So and right now we've got shrimp landings are down, blue crab landings are down. Those are all downward signs, and I don't see any recovery yet. We have to just keep on keeping on. I mean, the seafood industry will come back eventually, but we have to work hard to do that.